Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our City Council meeting, regular meeting for December 19, 2023, and it's 7:02 p.m. Can we please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin. If we can all please remain standing for a moment of silence for our first responders and military members. Thank you. May be seated. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Ross.
Present.
Councilmember Mann.
Present.
Councilmember Soto.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra.
Present.
Mayor Moran.
Present.
For the record, all council members and mayor are in attendance.
Next item is closed session announcements. We did not have a closed session today, so there's nothing to announce. Council, are there any changes to the agenda? Seeing none, next we have, moving forward, citizen comments. This section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item not on the agenda. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the city council this evening. At this time, I would like to go out to the anybody on the phone with citizen comments on any items not on the agenda. Hearing none, coming back into the chamber, is there any citizen comments in the chamber? Seeing none, we're moving forward. Announcements and reports. Are there any city staff announcements and reports?
None tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. City manager announcements and reports?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few items to report on. I know that Monica is currently queuing up a brief slideshow that we wanted to share. And I really wanted to just take a moment to recognize an employee appreciation committee that has been put together over the last couple of months. It's made up of multiple individuals from different departments, Martha from Community Development, Myra from Public Works, Nancy in the Finance Department, RC in HR, and Monica in the City Manager's Office. And they've coordinated a few different events, Christmas Hat Day, Holiday Sock Day, a Thanksgiving luncheon, various events throughout the city, a Grinch visit that happened last week, and a few other things that have been going on. And some of the feedback we've received from some of the employees has been that they really appreciate what the city has been doing to just show the employees that we care. In that picture, the committee also organized a food drive that we donated the food that we gathered. And it's been a really good thing to see the employees come together. So I really want to convey my appreciation to the leadership of the group. They've stayed after work hours. They've come in before City Hall's been opened, all in the spirit of doing events for the employees. And that picture is from the sock day that we had. And just one small reminder, there is an event. Santa will be coming to the city tomorrow. So I will just like to tell the council that you may get a treat from Santa in your inbox. So I do suggest you check your inbox anytime after tomorrow or after Santa has arrived. So I wanted to send my appreciation to the group that has been doing that, so thank you. And then one thing I did want to touch on after getting that fun stuff out to the community and the council is that I wanted to respond back to an individual that came to the council meeting last week, and they had conveyed some feelings that staff had been unresponsive. And I wanted to provide a little bit of just background to the community. I know the council knows this already, but during my last 10 months here and prior to my arrival in February, I've identified numerous instances where the city manager's office has provided specialized treatment to various members of the community. This includes various things such as assistance with fees, payment plans, and other things that are typically not common in cities. It hasn't been afforded to all members of the community, and it wasn't uncommon for applicants or developers to be told or be given an answer by lower ranking staff members and then come to the city manager's office and then have the decision of other staff members overridden by the city manager's office. These types of favors and requests were the norm prior to my arrival. So it created this situation where the city manager's office would override lower level staff members. One of the expectations that I have done across the board with all the staff is that, and I've also shared this with the council, is that what we do for one individual, we do for all members of the community. And so we shouldn't be treating members of the community differently based on who they are. So part of what's happened over the last 10 months is a cultural shift, as I describe it, and not providing specialized treatment to certain individuals. And to many people that have done business in the city of Livingston or done business with the city, that can come across as a new way of operating, which is much different than what they may have been accustomed to. And that takes some learning and that takes some adjustments. The management staff knows that while I'm here, it's not what we should be doing in the sense of providing specialized treatment to members of the community. And one expectation that the staff does know, and what is normal in many cities, is that if a planning commission or the city council takes legislative action on an item, the city manager's office or no other staff member can single-handedly change what action has been done by the legislative body or by the planning commission. Again, that is a new way of operating for some members of the community. Ethics, professionalism, and doing things legally matter. And that's the expectation that I've laid out for the management team, and also the council knows this from the correspondence that I've had with them as well. I know that it is a bit of a change in what's been done previously, and I really want to thank the council for being receptive to that and understanding that while some practices have happened for numerous years, the council has been extremely receptive of this change of culture that needs to occur from the management side. So I just wanted to thank the council publicly for that. I've provided the council with additional details with respect to the project that was in question last week. I've also provided the details regarding the specific requests, as well as the feedback from legal with that request. I won't get into that tonight, but I just wanted to make sure that I was being responsive to the members of the community, people that may have seen that and not known the background. And I just wanted to provide a little bit of transparency to everybody. The council did get the feedback and also the response back and the follow-up from that item last week. So I wanted to make sure that we had just closed the loop on that item, and that individual is currently going through the proper process for their specific item. So that concludes my update. It's a little bit longer than normal, Mayor, so thank you for indulging me. That's all that I have. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all of that, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that update.
Just one moment. I appreciate your report tonight. Everything that has needed to be said over the past 3 years, that I have been receiving pushback from many members of the community. But for someone to come forward, such as yourself, with true transparency in regards to what has been occurring in the city of Livingston with past practices, past management teams, past elected officials, really needed to come out. And you did that for us tonight. So I hope that that brings a better view of what has transpired over these years as to why many items haven't been done. We've talked about them during our council meetings about general plans, updates for many items that go back as far as, I don't know, the 1990s, 1940s. So the lack of true work and true leadership has not occurred, and past councils have allowed it. So thank you for your report tonight. It really puts us in a true light where perhaps our residents will come out and see that there is going to be true change, and you're starting with our staff by providing that unity, the camaraderie. And we just watched how you brought the staff together to do these fun things, and they're taking it on. The divisiveness that has been, since I've been on council, it's present. And it's been hard, it's been difficult. Finally, thank you for your report tonight. So hopefully we get this transparency throughout this council, on this dais, and other people come forward with what they know, because that's going to shed a lot of light on the direction that Livingston needs to go forward with, a positive one, where we can actually see growth and not this favoritism that has been poisoning us. It wasn't the water, a little bit, but mostly that culture. So thank you for enacting change, true leadership. Thank you very much.
Council, are there any questions, comments at this time? All right. Next, we have city council members' announcements and reports. Councilmember Mann.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Excuse me. I wanted to touch briefly on the recent trip to Jalisco, Mexico. I have found a whole new appreciation for Mexican heritage and culture. I learned so much from this trip. With that said, may I say Jalisco is absolutely beautiful. It truly is. The gentlemen and the individuals that we did meet in Zapo and Jalos, I truly want to let them know that we're here to partner with them and to continue to hopefully grow business here in Livingston and ultimately open up new jobs here locally. But from what I saw during my time there, they're very energetic. They're very they have some very big motives to come this direction and do business here in Livingston. And to that, I want to thank them, and I want to thank the delegation for including me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilmember Roth.
Thank you, Mayor. I did get to attend the Christmas parade with fellow council members, and great parade. Jackie, Tony, and everyone involved, city staff, Public Works, they all did a great job. I finally got to see some of the parade after 3 years of driving in it, so it was great, and I commend everyone that attended and partook in it. Wrong word, whatever. Anyway, I also attended the State of the City address. Mr. Mayor, you did a good job on that. With that said, all done.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. Next, we have Councilmember Soto.
I don't have anything to report other than I did attempt to attend the previous meeting that was held last Thursday. It was supposed to be Cal City's division meeting. I did not quite make it there due to car accident, so. But thank you. I will follow up though with Stephen, I believe that's his name. I will follow up with him and get some of the things that were discussed during the business part of the meeting.
Thank you. Next, we have Mayor Pro Tem Samra.
Thank you. For me, just to add to what Councilmember Roth said, it was very good Christmas parade. I think my eyes were burning for the next 2 days after that because of the fire truck. We probably will need to move in some emergency money to get that truck tuned up or something. But other than that, it was the amount of organization the recreation department, everybody did, the staff, to make it happen was tremendous. It was, a lot of people were talking about it, and they said it was excellent. Good job, everybody. Thank you. And then for me, I attended the mosquito abatement meeting today. We elected a new president, vice president, and our secretary, and then we approved the contract for a pilot, and our project to put a new building up on Beechwood is moving forward. So hopefully it'll get done within the next 3 to 4 years. And other than that, I just want to thank again the entire staff from city manager on down to everybody at every level for the great year of service they gave the city as always. Our engineering department, legal, everybody, it was a team effort that took a lot of work, a lot of challenges, but through everybody, we managed to get through it, and I hope we have just as good of a next year, if not better. And I wish everybody Merry Christmas, and we'll see everybody New Year.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Give me 1 second. So I do have a short list today, and also because I didn't bring my glasses, so I have to.
You want to borrow mine?
So, but I wrote bigger today, larger letters. So I was not able to attend the Christmas parade. I ended up having to be traveling to a work conference, so on which I was a presenter, but I missed it. But I know I kind of kept up with some of the videos and the pictures, a lot of the comments, and a lot of the feedback also, and so I just want to forward the same messages to city staff that were involved in not only in organizing and preparing for the parade, but also that were participating. Other than I think they missed a street that was not on the route, or just something. I guess something always will happen. But other than that, a lot of great feedback, a lot of great comments to city staff, recreation, public works, and everybody that was involved, police explorers, all of the volunteers. Thank you on behalf of the residents of the city of Livingston and all of those that came from outside to nearby cities to participate or just be part of the parade. On the 14th, also we had, I presented the state of the city, and one of the main goal for that was to really kind of give a quick, short update of the different things that the city has been working on and that has been accomplished within the last year, and what are some of the things that we're looking to continue working for 2024. Obviously, there's a lot of things that a lot of people were not really aware of, and because a lot of the things get done, by the different departments, a lot of repairs, a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. And I think that it's important for the residents to kind of get those updates And even though some of the residents are able to watch some of the meetings or see some of the pictures or see some of the reports, but it's always, I think it was a good idea to just be able to put it all together and do one report to the entire community. And if anybody missed it, they can always go back and watch that report on YouTube. So, and then again, thank you to everyone that made it happen, all of the staff members that organized it. On Friday, I also attended the Livingston crab feed. It was good. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see a lot of people there. I just hope that when they do the crab feed, it's also primarily a fundraiser for that organization to continue doing programs in the community. But anyways, I enjoyed it. Anytime there's a crab feed, if I don't know about it, just let me know, and I might, hopefully I can be part of it. On Sunday, also, I attended the pancake breakfast at the Portuguese Hall. It was good. And once again, I want to reiterate my appreciation to city staff. I know that sometimes when residents come to our different departments or to City Hall, people that are in the front counter, they get to hear and the good, the bad, and the ugly from the residents. And, most of the time, residents are okay, they don't have any issues. But sometimes when they have a concern and they have an issue and they don't know who to direct those questions to, the people that are up at the counter are the ones that get to hear it. And sometimes it's not very nice. So I do want to say thank you to all of the staff members in the different departments. And I know that residents not only come to City Hall, but they go to PD sometimes, and to Public Works. I just want to say that even though you get to hear some not so nice comments sometimes, it's just that residents are frustrated. It's not necessarily that they're frustrated at that person that is there at the front counter. And I do appreciate how everybody that is involved is able to really de-escalate and really kind of find answers to their questions. Just like I get calls or messages about concerns, I do appreciate residents when they also share their happiness with how they were treated, with how their issues were handled. And so I just wanted to share that as well. And I know that in the last year or so, we've been going through a lot of changes. This council and city staff has been working very hard at getting those things done, getting those things in place, building a strong foundation where we can build from. And there's a lot more to do. And so we hope that residents continue to support this council, and more than anything, continue to be informed about any item that comes before the council or any of the commissions, so that they can understand when and how and why those decisions are made. And I continue to welcome residents to continue reaching out and to continue informing this council or myself about concerns, because a lot of times, like I mentioned before, the residents, are the ones that really we depend on sometimes to be able to let us know or let me know what those concerns are. Because, even though we might drive through town, we don't get to see everything. Whether it's a street issue, overgrown bushes, or just different concerns. I I just want to say that we do appreciate those emails, those messages. And it's okay if you have to send me the same message on Facebook, on text, and email. I'll get it one way or the other. So I appreciate that you want to make sure that we get those messages. And other than that, I just want to say thank you, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and just be safe out there. If we don't get to see you guys before then, just make sure that your time is quality time, not quantity, but quality time with whoever you spend your time with. And that is the end of my report. Next, we have consent agenda. Council, anything, are there any questions about the consent agenda, or are there any?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I may. I got a
Yes.
concern over check number 10202. What I'd like to see is a breakdown of that, billing period, and a broken down invoice, if I may.
Mr. Roth, what page is that?
That's page number 6 on the accounts payable.
1, 2,
On the check warrants?
Correct, sorry.
What item is that?
It is item number 1.
So on page number 6 of the check warrants, what's the check number?
10202.
Okay, so the first one. And your question is?
I'd just like to get a breakdown of that. Maybe city manager can provide that to me, so I can look at it, please.
Yeah, and we've got that in our office. Actually, I sent an email to the mayor about this one item too. And just so that everybody knows, there's about 4, I think, 5 payments that are included here, 6 payments. So that's what it is, but we'll get you the breakdown
thank
for you. Sure.
Council, are there
If we
any
can
other
go
questions?
And just to piggyback off of Mr. Roth, with that same vendor, is there a way that we can get the entire invoice of a breakdown to what we've been paying and what it's for? So not just with this check, but with the whole entire billing that we've received from them.
The city, for all the bills, receives a detailed invoice of all the time and each item that's listed. So it's there. This particular one, there was miscommunication and the invoices went unpaid. And so Christopher and I were able to figure out what happened, and then that's why there's a big giant bill all at the same time.
And I actually have those here, so while we're at the dais here, I'll send an email to the council so that you all have the detail for that.
Thank you.
So you mean to say that the city forgot to pay the bills? Okay. All right. But we got that taken care of, right?
Everything
Okay.
is good.
All right. It's all about communication, right? Okay.
Sorry, the city manager got it taken care of very quickly.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Council, are there any other questions?
Item number 6, please.
Okay. So you want that, you want to do the question now? You want to pull it and
Pull it, approve the rest of the consent if that's okay with council, and then I'll discuss what I need to.
Okay.
Ask what I need to.
so right now, it's item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Any motions? Any other questions? Okay, so is there any public comment in regards to the consent agenda on the phone? Hearing none, coming back to the chambers. Any public comment in regards to the consent agenda in the chamber? Seeing none, bringing it back to the dais. Council, what is your wish in regards to the consent agenda, except item 6?
I'll make the motion to approve a consent agenda with the exception of item number 6.
So we have a motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Samra. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember Roth. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Councilmember Soto,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra,
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. Item number 6, your question?
Yes. One of my first questions, though, I understand that we have the sister cities. I understand the program. But my question to you, Mr. Moran, is why this city? Can you just elaborate more on that, please?
So this is something that was started back in 2000, I believe 2016. And Jalos Totitlan is one of the cities that, along with Zapotlanejo, and there's another city in Japan, I believe, that where this program was initiated, but it was never formalized. So what we're doing is just formalizing, completing, closing the cycle, and going through the process of registering the sister cities within Sister Cities International. So part of the process to finalize that is just to have a resolution to make it official. This is something that was not done before.
So in the past, we've authorized trips to the sister cities without actually being part of the program? Is that what I understand? Or is that what you're...
Prior to us, to this year, I don't know what was done. I don't, all that I know and all that I can say is that the program was started. Whether or not there were trips to those cities or not, I don't know. I cannot tell you. I'm sure there's records of, in the city records, if there were any. So, but right now, what we're doing is just like what we've been doing for the last 10, 12 months, just trying to formalize and close and get things done. So this item will just formalize so that we can get this to the next step, which is registering Jalos Totitlan, Jalisco, Mexico, with Sister Cities International as our sister city, as our official sister city.
Okay, so to be clear, this hasn't been official up until we passed this resolution. But we've, in the past, have authorized trips and other people to attend activities for the sister cities that we've adopted, per se.
Once again, I cannot speak for what happened in previous councils. This is just a step that we need to do in order to be able to have it register officially with Sister Cities International.
Okay, so now we're dealing with previous councils, so you've already attended 2 trips, correct?
One trip.
1 trip?
And we just did the trip to Zapotlanejo for the sister cities, which is something that we already did the resolution to make Zapotlanejo a sister city before we made a trip, yes.
Okay, so why wasn't this trip and who was going voted on in open session?
Say that again?
Why wasn't this trip and who was going not discussed in open session?
The one in November?
Correct.
Because the invitation was extended to myself, and like I already explained that last time. The invitation was extended to myself, and then I extended the invitation to Councilmember Mann.
What was your rationale for not opening it up to the rest of the council?
It was just a simple decision that I only wanted it to extend at that time the invitation to Councilmember Mann.
So you took it upon yourself to not have an open discussion on the dais and make the decision to only invite 1 council member?
Like I said last time, this was an invitation to myself And then I extended that invitation to Councilmember Mann.
Okay, did you know, and you knew about this trip prior, the planning?
I would have to know about the trip in order for me to attend, yes.
Sure, so how many more trips are going to be held in secret?
Good.
Mr. Mayor, if I could interject, my concern is at this point, we're getting past the designated topic for item 6, and I'm concerned that this may run afoul of the Brown Act, as we're discussing issues that aren't agendized.
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Yes, you may.
First of all, I'm not sure, our relationship with the sister city program from Wakami, Japan to others, maybe not formally adopted, has been well-known, well-attended by others as well. I'm not sure what this actually does to have a relationship with another city. I don't think you have to have this. It's nice to have it, but who is this really going to? I mean, do you have to have this to have a sister city program? No. We're saying we're extending our hand to our neighbors. And if this was something that the city was initiating, a trip, I can understand. But this was an invitation extended to the mayor, who was the figurehead or a representative of the council, says, hey, come visit us. We visit you, come see us. It's within the mayor's purview, says, okay, you know what, I'll come along, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything illegal about it. And to me, if we want to adopt this, let's adopt it. If not, let's move on. I mean, this was already explained before. I'm sorry, but we're making something out of nothing right now at this point. It was extended, and in order to go back, we made trips to Japan, to China. We made trips all over, and they have come at our invitations as well. So I don't know if this is really illegal. Maybe it's formalizing, but I don't think anything we did was illegal. I don't think it requires to have a partnership pass to have a partnership. I could be wrong, I'm not an attorney, but I don't believe you have to have a formal to have a partnership.
The reason why I ask is because you did mention earlier about the residents, you want them to be an active part. We want to be able to engage with them, their trust. So I have had residents reach out to me because they saw the YouTube video where the decision was made on your behalf to represent and then designate a person of your choice, not in an open meeting. So what they're saying is that they see this, in their view, as a free trip, a vacation. So I just want to make it clear, or you to make it clear, that because you decided who was going, and privately, as opposed to discussing it in an open session. The residents reached out to me because the appearance.
And thank you, I appreciate that. And I just want to assure the residents that this is not a private trip. We already have gotten more things done due to this partnership than other partnerships created through other or attending some conferences. Council members are also freely able to attend conferences without having to ask the council if they should attend or not. And, I don't see this being any different. And and I just wanted to reiterate, and as legal said, the item before us is the consideration of a resolution formalizing the sister city partnership between the city of Jalostotitlan, Jalisco, Mexico, and the city of Livingston. But are there any more questions in regards to this specific item before us.
Sure, I do have one more question.
Yes.
So you just said that we don't have to discuss that because we're appointed. We take those appointments at the beginning of the year. We go to Cal Cities if we're the representative, those are responsibilities on behalf of the city. So residents were concerned about this trip being self-serving. So my question is, why doesn't the city council instead poll the residents from here on to see if they appreciate only, the cities is from being a sister cities, or would they prefer to see other cities in other countries, like from India, where we also have a large portion of residents originally from. So to me, that makes more sense to put it out because Rodrigo's a big advocate. This is his hometown as well. We have many residents from that state. We also have many residents from India. And that program wasn't in existence for quite a long time. So my question is, why don't we poll the residents to see what they would prefer as well?
Well, you're free to do a poll if you like. I mean, you're also a representative of the. Well, you are, or you were an elected official and still are an elected official of the residents. And if you'd like to do that, or if you'd like to give direction to the city manager, well, actually, for something like that, it would need to be the majority of the council, okay? So, but also, let me just reiterate that when council members or representatives of the council attend conferences, not necessarily conferences to which you are appointed are the only conferences that you can attend. In the past, there has always been conferences that are either for council members, there's Cal Cities conferences for council members and for mayors. There is conferences for other members at City Hall that not necessarily they are appointed to. So to say that you can only attend a conference to what you're appointed to, it's not correct.
Mr. Mayor, a point of order, please. Our discussion before us is for this, not to who attend conferences. If we need to discuss that at a further date, please, I would highly recommend that we put that, agendize it for further discussion. But at this time, the item before us is to formalize the sister city. And the key word is formalize.
Yes. So are there any other questions in regards to the item before us? Are there any motions, recommendations?
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion that we adopt the resolution formalizing sister city partnership with, as recommended.
So I think I already asked for comment, but if not, no, haven't. Okay, so I'm gonna put it out for public comment in regards to item number 6. Is there any public comment on the phone? Hearing none. Any public comment in the chamber? Seeing none, bringing it back to the dais. So we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Samra. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 5-0.
Next, we have item number 8, public hearing. Consideration of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Livingston, amending Chapter 7 of Title I, establishing Section 1-7-6, City Clerk responsibilities, in Section 1-7-7, Deputy City Clerk responsibilities. Staff recommendation, waive the second reading and adopt ordinance by title only, open the public hearing, close the public hearing, and approve the ordinance as presented.
So Mayor, this is the second reading for this item. We talked about this at the previous meeting. I know that Councilmember Mann was unable to attend, but the council just needs to have the second reading of this item, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Council, are there any questions before I go out for public comment? Comments? So going out for public comment, are there any citizen comments in regards to item number 8 on the phone? Coming back to the chamber, any public comment in the chamber? Seeing none, bringing it back to the dais. Council, any questions, motions? I'll make a motion to approve, consideration of ordinance of City Council. So staff recommendation is to waive the second reading and adopt ordinance by title only, open the public hearing, close the public hearing, and approve the ordinance as presented. So I motion to waive the second reading and adopt ordinance by title only, open the public hearing, close the public hearing, and approve the ordinance as presented.
Aren't we supposed to pick an option?
So there's a motion on the floor by myself. Is there a second?
Oh. Here's what I found. What did you find? I'm sorry, was that a question?
Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Just a quick question, and thank you for making the motion. Just for a question for Lee, do we need to point any of the options of 1, 2, 3 on the bottom, or are we okay with accepting the way it is from previously?
We can accept it because the motion was made previously. for
Okay.
The second component.
We
We don't need it for the adoption of the ordinance, but if council wants to do it, you can do so.
Yeah, because I know that Councilwoman Soto said, and I just wanted to clarify that, because this is a adoption, we're okay with that, so.
Correct, because the direction was given for the
Already
first reading.
From the previous motion, so. So I will second that.
Just one moment. So to be clear, these additional options are part of the whole reading? We don't get to choose or direct the city manager to look into one?
Council did at the last
Yeah,
meeting.
it is
The
direct-
direction was to go with number 1.
Yeah, it was done that day. So now they're gonna work on, and they're bringing it back to us for, to work on it further. So that way we can make a formal vote to see if you want to put it to the voters as a measure.
That direction didn't require 2 readings, but the ordinance does.
Yeah, that's one.
Okay, so just so that it's clear to others, the difference between option number 1 and number 2.
Option number 1 would allow, which was selected, would allow to either bring the item forward for the 2024 election cycle, or if we weren't able for whatever reason to bring it at the 2024, then we can come back and bring it for the 2026 election cycle. And then it was also to review, in case there was a conflict, because 2024 is the election year for the elected city clerk position. The second item would only have allowed staff to bring it forward for 2024. It wouldn't give that flexibility to bring it forward in 2026 if there was a conflict for 2024. That's clear.
Okay. And so, if it does not make it onto the ballot, we are going to be left with an election of a city clerk, correct?
Correct.
And at that time, if it doesn't make the ballot and our residents are having to vote for a city clerk, is there going to be another time where we solidify this job description, or that we hold the city clerk accountable for what is in the code?
The council can do so, once the code is officially adopted, the council can do so at any time if the then elected city clerk is not abiding by the requirements. Unfortunately for elected officials, the most that a council could do is censure someone. But that is an option for the council should. But that would be an issue for a later date, but it couldn't do so until the ordinance becomes official.
But currently, we do have the state code, correct?
Currently, all that governs, we don't have anything in our municipal code governing the city clerk or requirements for the city clerk. There is, under the government code, specific requirements that a city clerk must abide by, yes.
So yes, it defaults. So under that specific one, we should have a city clerk that is fulfilling those obligations today, tonight, and the past times that they were appointed?
A city clerk is required to comply with the government code, yes.
The reason why I asked is because they go back to previous behaviors, whereas we're not holding anybody accountable for doing the job that they were elected to do. And that falls back on the previous city clerk, Letty, to the point where things were not being done. And I did have residents with that concern in regards to things being hidden because we were not getting our minutes. So that was the concern, and it still is a concern as to why we're not holding anybody accountable for completing this job. And they've also asked, why was she put under investigation? Want to know what cell phone she used, what computer she used. So again, it comes back to accountability. And why, Mr. Moran, we did have an applicant come forward that night, July 5th. Again, can you just, for the residents, let them know why you chose someone that didn't have an application, was not here? The residents would like to know.
So that is, I do believe that is out of the, that is not part of the item that we're to be discussing, but other than considering on the ordinance.
For full transparency, I mean, it's a concern of the public, and you spoke earlier how you want to be transparent, and then when our residents ask questions, you want to be able to provide them answers. It builds that trust.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
And legal, let me know if I stray too far from the item before us. We've discussed this before. Even taking a person that applied, even if that person was adopted, and that person says, you know what, I'm not going to do it. There's nothing we can do to hold anybody anyway. It's not within our purview to do that. It's up to the voters themselves alone, nobody else. Even if you look at the number of people that don't do what they said they do, that's what politicians do. They make promises and they don't keep it. Nobody's going to hold them accountable. You can have the person come up and say, I promise I will do this, everything. Once they're sworn in, there's not a thing you can do. They're done. It's an elected office. It's a separate office. We're not their supervisors. The 14,000 people out there supervisors. And I don't want to talk about this anymore because we've already made a decision as a council. We need to move on. I believe we have a motion and a second. So, Mr. Mayor?
That is correct.
I did.
Samra, Mayor Pro Tem.
Roll call.
Go ahead.
Councilmember Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Councilmember Soto,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra,
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Next, we have discussion and potential action items. Item number 9, discussion and direction regarding the 4th of July committee.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a follow-up item. Earlier this year, the council approved a multi-year agreement with a fireworks vendor. As a result of COVID, the fireworks event, I believe, was canceled. The council did authorize the expenditure to bring that back in the city of Livingston. In the time that the fireworks event was not happening, city staff implemented new programs, including Little Giants, and they've got a number of programs that are occurring during this time. After speaking to the recreation team, there isn't enough capacity at this point to do staff take over the planning of a larger 4th of July event. After speaking to a couple individuals in the community, they are interested in coordinating the event in the sense of getting bands, getting the various vendors that would help alleviate city staff in preparing or planning for this event. We have been approached by Paul Moore, who is willing to put on a carnival for this event. They are asking for a formalized commitment from the city of Livingston to ensure that they are able to have this date scheduled and blocked out on their calendar. There are some options that the council may consider. This isn't exhaustive, but it's a few ideas. One option includes authorizing the interim city manager to execute an agreement with Paul Maurer shows, subject to review and concurrence from the city attorney. So we wouldn't, I wouldn't authorize or wouldn't execute an agreement until the city attorney is reviewed and provided they're okay with it. Second item could potentially be authorizing the formation of a volunteer committee to plan and develop the plan for the larger 4th of July celebration. Or the council could choose to have a 4th of July celebration that only includes a fireworks show and minimal other components. Those are examples of action or direction that the council can provide. Happy to answer any questions that you may have for this item, Mayor and Council. Thank you.
Council, are there any questions, comments? Actually, I think it's both a question and a comment. Maybe I don't remember correctly, but I'm almost certain that at one point council, or it might have been before your time here, where council approved for a contract to be signed for 3 years. That was for fireworks?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
correct,
that
the
was-
fireworks.
Just for, okay, perfect, all right. Thank you for that clarification. Are there any other questions? So we have possible action includes the following. 1, to authorize the interim city manager to execute an agreement with Paul Motor, shows subject to review and concurrence from the city council, from the city attorney. 2, to authorize the formation of the volunteer committee to plan and develop the plan for the larger 4th of July celebration. And 3, to choose to have 4th of July celebration that only includes the fireworks show and minimal other components.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to authorize both 1 and 2. To authorize the interim city manager to execute the agreement with Palmar shows, subject to review and concurrence with the city attorney, and authorize the formation of the volunteer committee to plan and develop the plan for a larger 4th of July celebration.
Mr. Lopez, I know that in the past there was individuals interested in participating in volunteering. Is that still the case? Would that involve, is that committee going to be formed by only volunteers, or is that going to or is the plan to include city staff?
So Mayor, what we would do is we would obviously like to have members of the staff included there. Public Works is a big component of that. We will want to make sure that we have input from them as to what can be done from the staff perspective. So our plan is involve staff as well on that. I know that there are other members of the community, volunteers that would like to be a part of that. Julio has volunteered. I spoke to him at the check presentation about a month ago. He's interested in being a part of that as well and helping to plan and organize that event, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
it must be the Christmas season because a miracle just happened. Councilwoman Sultan and I agree that options 1 and 2 should be taken. That gives the committee, though, when it gets formed, let them decide how big or small it should be, and I think, let the citizens, more people participate. So it is Christmas time, so Christmas miracle happened.
Is that a motion? Is that a second?
Did you make that motion? 1 and 2?
Should this actually be an ad hoc committee?
Oh, volunteers take that.
What I want to make clear, though, is I know that I have an interest in the committee, so allowing council members, but no more than 2.
Yeah. I see what you're saying in legal. If you put the word ad hoc, isn't that ad hoc just elected officials, or can that be mixture?
It could be a mix, yeah.
So-
The key for the ad hoc is determining whether or not the Brown Act applies. So if you do an ad hoc committee, then the Brown Act would apply because it's
You
for
wanna
limited
change that to ad
duration
hoc
with a
committee?
specific purpose.
Change it to ad hoc.
So I'll go ahead and amend the motion to specify the volunteer committee to be an ad hoc.
And miracles happening again, I will second it.
So does that mean that you are volunteering yourself to be part of that committee?
I said I'm seconding the motion.
Well, then otherwise it's not going to be well,
I was just going to ask for friendly clarification. Would you like to put a duration for the existence of the ad hoc committee?
So actually, based on the committee members, because something like this is year to year. The planning starts January. I mean, planning should have already occurred because of the funds that would need to be raised for this. So to say that there is a time limit, it's only a time limit on the person that volunteers their time.
So in order for it to qualify as an ad hoc committee, it would require a time limit. If not, then it'd be a standing committee subject to the Brown Act.
There you go.
so
So let me amend my motion once again for the volunteer committee to be named as a standing committee.
I will go ahead and second it as well.
Miracle.
Hallelujah.
okay, so just clarification that there's still, in case there is more than, which probably, well, it would have to become an ad hoc committee, an ad hoc, if, I know, if at any time more than 2 council members decide to participate, then it has to, just for clarification.
For the committees, you can't have any more than 2 council members because then it becomes a quorum and you effectively have a council meeting. So any committee would need to be 2 or less council members. The ad hoc component is really, versus standing, it's about the duration of how long the committee is going to exist and the scope with which the committee is going to operate.
Perfect. All right. Any other questions? So we have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
I do have a question. Who are the committee members from the council? Because we will need to agendize it and notice that meeting.
Yeah, we will have to
based on that
agendize it for the
committee.
next one because we can't really,
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we have to bring the appointment of the committee members to the next
we
council.
can't do that here.
Yes. Citizen comments in regards to this item on the phone? Is there anyone on the phone in regards to this item? Hearing none, bringing it back to the chamber. Any citizen comments? Seeing none, bringing it back to the dais. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Councilmember Soto,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samar,
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. Next, we have council direction on future agenda items. Anything?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to have a discussion or look into supplemental water alternative for the city, and also see if there's grants and possible ordinance change for our city for xeriscape, fake grass, et cetera, and bringing it back to one of our next meetings, please.
So,
Thank-
Mr. Roth, your question about water, is that for groundwater or drinking water? Or
You know,
water
I
in
think
general?
for like a water basin is what I'm thinking. You know, just an alternative so we don't have to rely on the water, groundwater. And that's something that we'd have to talk and do research on, but
Yeah.
I think it's a discussion that the council members should have for the future.
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A while back, there was a discussion of using surface water from the river to supplement our groundwater. Is that something which you're referring to, Mr. Rock?
Yes.
Thank you. We did have that discussion, but it didn't go anywhere because we would have to get MID and everybody involved. And so, but it takes a lot of work, but sooner we get started, the better, you know, so.
Yeah, I think we should start those discussions again
Okay.
for the future.
If I may add, and then again, I don't know if that specific item might be appropriate to have the council also include in the conversation the requirements that are currently before the Planning Commission in regards to the type of landscaping that is required when items come before Planning Commission. Looking ahead and forward in regards to, do we need to require any landscaping at all versus just landscaping with rocks and stuff like that, items that don't need water? So I would like to be able to kind of have a review of what's currently those requirements are, so that we can, or at least so that I can have a better understanding, and if the options are to not have any vegetation as part of the landscaping, by all means, and I think that that needs to be an option for the residents in Livingston moving forward.
Are you talking to residents or business development?
Both.
Both? Because it's part of the ordinance that they have, that type of shrubbery, but drought-friendly type, but you're wanting to exclude it entirely?
To explore and have that conversation to where there potentially an option could be to not necessarily have anything, not even drought-resistant landscaping. Anything else, Council?
Items, for me, I'd like to explore the use of city buildings. That is the Child Development Center. I know that contract's coming up in May. The Senior Center, that's right over here that we have, if we can have those discussions. I'd also like to see if we can invite the Livingston Youth Football and Cheer. They did go on to be divisional champs, so if we can invite them for a presentation. I also had a citizen reach out to me for street names, not necessarily trying to change them, but the conversation that we had was to do something like how Merced has for their M Street. It's a Veterans Boulevard. They are a veteran, and I'm an advocate for our veterans. So they'd like to the discussion is to add signage along with the already formalized named of our streets, but add signage representing veterans. And then lastly, there is a centennial plaque I've been reached out to, and I've seen it, that was given to the city of Livingston for our centennial. So I'd like to see a discussion of how we can actually have that be part of the city and install that plaque honoring the celebration that we had last year for our centennial.
Council, anything else? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned at 8:12.